instead of just saying, oh, I guess I'll just write that down on my notebook or put that in a CRM, that's gonna get buried, you're gonna lose that information, and then you're gonna end up losing the deal. You have to take action that very instant. Many of you have seen my Instagram stories or perhaps a YouTube short where I've showed some type of pre-foreclosure, probate, eviction, divorce type of deal that I've done. But you might be wondering, there's a lot of gray area here. I really don't understand how to get these deals. Well, today I want to change that. We're going to go through a deal that I bought out of pre-foreclosure, and we're going to walk through how did I get the data for that deal? How did I figure out that it was vacant? How did I track down an heir because it was in probate? How did we get all of this to come together and wrap itself into a deal? So that day, the data came in from my virtual assistants. There were 6 or 8 different properties that were in foreclosure that day. We skip traced all those. Our guys called every single one of them, and they didn't answer. Well, there was one property in particular that stuck out. It was close by. It had a lot of equity, and I just wanted to dive deeper into that one. So we went out, door knocked the property. Let's go there now. So there's definitely a speed to lead element with these pre-foreclosure deals. You want to get there as early as you can. So my VA is pulling this data. We're getting out to the house as soon as possible. So when we locked up this deal, the lead came in, we're out there within a few hours. You want to be the first person that gets a hold of that seller, determines if the house is vacant. Any information that you can get, you want to be there first, because a lot of times the first person that gets a hold of these sellers is the person that ends up getting the deal. So we got the data, we called, no one answered. So of course, next you're going out to door knock the house. And we want to do this as early as possible in this process. Obviously, when you get here, you notice that there's different notices on the door. One of them is from the lender, and it flat out says that it's vacant. So you already know there's some motivation here. The seller's detached from the property. Next, you want to figure out where that homeowner is or where the decision maker might be. So in this particular instance, while we were there door knocking the house, the neighbor saw us kind of interested. I'm guessing there'd be some other investors that had come by. He came out and said, hey, interested in buying the house? And we told him, of course. He said, well, I know that the homeowner had passed away and there was an heir. His name was Tom. He didn't know him much, but he said that we might look into someone named Tom that could help us with the property. So instead of just saying, oh, I need to find a Tom, I guess I'll just write that down on my notebook or put that in a CRM, that's going to get buried. You're going to lose that information. You have to take action that very instant. So the second that he said we needed to look for Tom, I went into research mode. You don't have to go back in front of your desktop. You don't have to go back to your office. Do it on your phone. And I like to use a free app called True People Search. It's remarkable how good the information is. Go into True People Search, and you can do a reverse address lookup. So I reverse searched the address, found the deceased homeowner, and if you actually scroll down on True People Search, you can find relatives at the bottom. And sure enough, there was Tom, just like the neighbor said. So the next logical step is we're going to take the address that True People Search gave for Tom, and we're gonna drive there and door knocking. So after we looked on True People Search, we found Tom's house. I immediately went over here to the address, knocked on the door, and Tom actually answered. He invited me in. We had about a 40-minute conversation. He explained to me the whole scenario of who passed away and why he hadn't taken action with the house. And the reason was that he had met with a probate attorney that told him it was going to be about $20,000 to run through probate. And I told him, Tom, look, it didn't cost anywhere near that. It's going to be about 10% of that amount. And with our service, we will actually pay for that probate and walk it from A to Z through that process. You won't have to do anything. So we hit it off, had a great conversation, and at the end of the conversation, he just kind of reaches in his pocket, grabs a pair of keys, and he's like, well, do you want to go look at the house? Go look at it. When you're done, just come back and talk to me. So we went and looked at the house, figured out what repairs it needed, took all of our pictures so we could get an accurate estimate. Then we wanted to reach back out to Tom, and he didn't answer the phone. And I was like, oh, he's ghosting us. He didn't answer us for about 12 hours, and generally that's not a good sign. So instead of just waiting and saying, well, this deal's not going to work, we came right back to the house, door knocked the house. Tom answered, "Hey, how was the house? Did you like it?" And we had a whole nother conversation, ended up agreeing on a purchase price, and signed a contract on the spot. So now that we have the contract, it's time to take the next step. If you remember, this was a probate situation. Mother passed away, son inherited the house. He wasn't able to afford the probate, so now we give our probate attorney a call and see what the process is. Now for this particular property, the seller was going to net a little bit under $40,000 on the deal, and in Missouri, where I am, you actually can do a small claims probate. In that situation, you're able to kind of cut down the process from several months to a couple of weeks. So we opened up the probate, and we're going to close here in a few weeks. So we've gone through the whole arc of this property. We went from data came in, how important it is to go out and door knock the property. When there's a vacant property, you have to take that extra step. Find where they might live, go to that property, door knock it. And in this particular case, we found where that son lived, went and door knocked his house, had a conversation, and it led to a wonderful opportunity to lock up a deal like this. So on niche deals, I say it over and over and over, you have to take that extra step. You have to do the +1. You have to do the things that other people aren't willing to do so that you can buy properties at a discount that no one else can. If this has been helpful, go ahead and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.